past the
Runway,
please.
Welcome back, y'all, to Past the Runway. I know it's been an extra week. We've been pretty good about doing 3 weeks at a time, let alone 2. But anyway, we have your hosts, Flechr.
And your other host, Pauli.
We are back to it and happy to say that the podcast is now 100% vaccinated against COVID-19.
That's right. We're in the triple threat stance against COVID. It's got no chances. There's no impasse, no interests, no chance.
Yes, we would like to formally invite coronavirus to guest star on one of our episodes now that we are completely safe from it. So if anyone can get into contact with the lad Corona, please let us know.
Yeah, that is a distance vocal contact, not physical contact. We don't recommend that.
Yes, of course. Even when fully vaccinated.
Yes. I'd love to have him on the show and ask him why he's such a bitch.
This, I think most people would be a great guest there. Well, we might as well jump right into it. First, we have the trivia question, and since it was GE trivia last time, it's PD trivia this time with Pauli.
Okay, I think I got this one. All right. Do you know our boy Takahiro Arai?
Indeed, I do.
You may have heard of him before. For those watching and listening at home. So, as you may know, he had a big sudden comeback in 2020, and now he's been playing regularly ever since, which is really cool. Always really cool to see an old player, and especially an old champion, come back and show what they've gotten. But the question is, do you remember what year it was that was his last Perfect Dark PR before he came back? And I'll give you a bonus if you can name the stage it was on.
I definitely looked at his times page and PR history at some point before his return. And yeah, that's tricky. I want to say the year was 2012 and the stage was G5. I don't know why I have those two in my head, but that's my guess. That's what I'm thinking.
It wouldn't be a bad guess. He was, if memory serves right, he was pretty into G5 as a whole. So it's not a stage he's unfamiliar to.
We'll see how accurate I am. My guesses the last couple times have been hilariously far off. So
I'll say this for us doing trivia, we're really bad at answering our own trivia questions. We've not really gotten in the realm of accuracy. So maybe we can turn it around this time.
Maybe we'll certainly find out. Well, so since it's it's been 3 weeks, so obviously the rankings have moved around a fair bit.
Yeah, very volatile the rankings are. They never really stay the same.
Indeed, it's been a little bit calmer in GE land, but I would like to highlight a couple of the nice runs that have been achieved. First on my list is the lad Kratos. Still has not played Link to the Past, but did make the unfortunate decision to play Cradle Agent and came out the other end with Agent 33. Nice world record there.
Now this is an interesting philosophical question. It's like, do you play Cradle and get the world record but be miserable, but or do you play LTTP and have fun and have a good time, but not get a world record? So it really depends on how you feel, I guess.
It is worth noting that this was his second GoldenEye world record and the time that brought him into the top 50. So congrats to Kratos. Has had a very good run.
Did he skip 34?
It seems that he might have, or just didn't post it. That is also possible.
Well, I mean, honestly, if you skip 34, that would be the way to do it. So
yeah, it looks like he had 35 and didn't post it? Or wait, no,
Mm.
hold up.
Hmm?
Okay, he has no best time saved on. He was playing on English for some reason, and has no best time saved, so no idea.
Oh well. I mean, either way, you don't have to play Create Agent again, so that's a
This
big
is
congrats in
this is
itself.
true. This is true. Another time, another one of the newer players. The man has kind of locked himself in as a train legend, already on the train leaderboards now, and achieving train agent in 1 minute flat is Repo Sean McKenzie coming in.
Young train god himself. If you were gonna pick one leaderboard to throw yourself on, this would be one of the ones you would pick because it's really hard to do.
Yeah, young maybe is the wrong word. He is in his 30s, but
Nah, he's still young. Take it from me.
certainly. Well, congrats to him. I know he's played a lot of trains, so 100 is an insane time.
Is he gonna be the? You would think he's gonna be the next one to get into the sub club, right? Get under the 1 minute.
You know, you'd think there'd be a good shot. Gus did recently join that club, so time to see. He does have a lot more room to improve on SA and especially Double O though. So I would imagine Double O is his next target. But who's to say? And last but not least, certainly not least, this one is special to me because I helped this dude out quite a lot on a couple of his journeys. With getting Runway SA 22, locking himself in on the Runway leaderboards.
Now that's my guy. I love me some Whiff, so I'm super excited. I remember when he posted the what was it? What was it? Like when he posted the 34, it blew me away. I was like, holy moly! So I'm really happy for
Yep,
him.
he had been messaging me to get some help on that, so I'd been helping coach him through that a little bit. So great to see him finally on the other side, getting that leaderboard now under his belt.
Yeah, pretty secure leaderboard until well, it's going to be hard to break. It's hard to break 34 without doing lanes properly, and agent secret agent 22 still exists, and until there's like 5 more runway 21s, which is an insane sentence to say out loud, it's pretty secure.
Yeah, it's a pretty safe board. So congrats to Whiff.
Oh, okay, all right. Now we're gonna slide over into PD land, and for starters, we're gonna cap off the amazing wide world of infill that you may have heard of some activity happening in the past
I think I did.
year. But we're gonna cap it off with, for now, what might be the exclamation point is Hot Cold Man notching his first untying infill PA to 117.
Yeah, insane seeing good old Hot Coldman getting his first untied, and then shortly afterwards, of course, you slayed it.
Yeah, that was
So we live in a world with an HCPW world record, which is bonkers.
it's a very it's probably just me because it's me, but I'm drawn to those two colors on the rankings just because they look so drastically different than everything else,
Yeah,
because they're not light blue or pink or some sort of green. So I just like, oh, what's that? And then I'm like, oh, that's Hot Cold Man. Oh, that's me. And I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm having a great time.
yes, insane times. It does seem though that it's finally quieted down.
Yeah, but as with anything else in here, and probably speed running in general. Like as soon as as soon as you think, it's fine, everything's good, everything's settled down. This is something else ridiculous is going to happen. So
Yeah.
tune in and probably like 3 months from now, or knowing our luck, 3 minutes after this is uploaded, and we'll just look really silly. So
This is true. This is quite true.
yeah, but big congrats to Lahat Coleman. Really happy for him on this one.
Indeed. Good to see it.
And then we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the next one, where you have young Samuel Fisher taking his Crash Site PA 139 untied and deciding to chop another one off, lowering his own untied to 138.
Yeah, and it seems like there's still meat on the bone. Seems like he had been getting some 137 paces, even maybe some 136s. So possible we'll see more come off of that here soon.
I wonder if he woke up one day and just was like, I'm just gonna play this. Like, why not? Or if because he dabbed a little bit with the new infield stuff. Maybe like getting on the bike and he was like, oh, this feels nice. Like maybe I should go back home. And he got on that bike. Maybe that sort of nudged him in that direction to do such a thing.
Yeah, it's good. I would say there's a high likelihood of that being the case.
Mm-hmm. And currently playing for the Crash Site 500, trying to untie DLTK because he nabbed the LTK one. So he's trying to get the DLTK one for the 500. So, which is cool. Yes. Like it'd be cool to see another 500 go up there.
Yeah, a lot of
not too many of those floating around.
No, definitely not. Crash Site definitely seems to be the one of the more common ones to get, though, which is interesting.
I have no idea why, but some things you can't explain.
No, certainly not.
And for the last, we've got you may remember remember our boy Tabor from a long ago.
Of course.
But played a little bit of PD here and there. Capped off his run with a rescue agent 132, which means that he is undoubted, totally proven points on every stage in Perfect Dark. So what a run of a form from him for the past 2 months.
Indeed, that's always one of my initial goals in GoldenEye, and then again in PD, getting points across the board. So you love to see it.
Mm-hmm. And I would presume that looking into the future, since he has experience in every stage, this might put him in line for a big Summer League 2021 run if he wants to do such a thing.
It very well could. Definitely getting that familiarity across the board can increase that draft stock.
Mm-hmm. Plus, he'll be helping out the SDES gang, so I know some people will be rooting for that. Definitely.
Indeed, certainly.
So, listen, like I said before, on this show we see people climbing the mountain, we see people at the top of the mountain, we see people at the base of the mountain. So Tabor, good job, boss. We see you working out there.
Yes, fellow yellow color man.
That's right. That's right. More gold on the ceiling, please.
Yes, certainly. So this actually is a nice segue into the next segment here. Because talking about recent events, I just finally got around to updating the Dual True Ending forum post. So this is kind of like half recent event, half forum recap, but we'll just pretend this is under the recent event tab.
Well, it's an Oreo cookie, if you will.
Exactly. And here we have Tabor getting, after he got DLTK9 on Duel, decides, I might go for Dual True Ending. And then, of course, the next day he gets Dual True Ending. So he becomes the 6th person to get the Dual True Ending, and the 3rd to get it that uses a yellow color on the ranks.
That's
So
it.
half of the dual true endings have been achieved by players hoisting the proud yellow.
I know every single one of you who clicked on this video is like really proud of hearing these stats thing about this particular subject. So
Certainly.
hey, listen, I the last thing I was expecting is to see Tabor DLTK9 pop across like the bot. That was shocking to me. I was not ready for that in any context. I was like, oh, okay. And then he was like, maybe I'll go for a dual true ending. And then
indeed he did.
And then he probably got it a few hours later, but that's mainly because, Pal Duel is very goofy for some reason.
Yeah, who knows why, but it is, certainly. It's weird.
Listen, we're not just making it up now. We've had some correspondence here. We just don't have we don't have an answer we could put in a scientific journal. We just have feelings.
We don't know the science. We don't know the science behind it, but like it totally seems to actually be the case. So
the PAL guards feel less aggressive, if you will.
Goodness. But yeah, congrats to Tabor on getting a dual true ending. And I won't mention the other person that's mentioned in the updated dual true ending forum post because he's a filthy hoarder. So congrats again to Tabor.
Good job by you, Light. I'll mention you. Don't worry, I got you.
I refuse to. Anyone that's read the updated post knows that I did not spare many words for his segment.
It really be like that sometimes.
He's lucky he's still a mod in my chat, to be quite honest. That may have to change in the near future. Anyway, and then the other recent event coming up pretty soon, I believe entry closes here in just about a week. GE Match Play 2021 coming up.
Was fun event last year. PD Match Play was fun, so I'm keen for this. We got plenty of new faces rolling because you got Joris is in, Psychroptic is in, Jess says he's in, Jono is in. I'm here for that.
Mm-hmm.
This should make it really fun. Mark Ritsu says, I'm down, I guess. So I also guess that is cool. I'll bring the same energy he's bringing. So, hey, it's not July. We can have some early fireworks in this bracket.
That's true. Quite true. We'll have to see how that goes off. Again, if you're interested in doing that, make sure that you reply in that forum thread before, I think March 29th is the cutoff, so make sure you do that if you are interested.
Yeah, so you got a week and some change, so get on that real quick.
Yep. And now it seems that it is time for the forum recap.
All right, little recap for the boys of the elite.
And looking at the forums, I admittedly, it's been hard for me to keep up, but we can definitely pop out the highlights here. We have the unofficial GEPD World Champ posts. I actually have yet to look at the PD one.
Yeah, these are. This is a really fun thread. So, if you haven't looked at it. So what it is about is, so we start with the official champ of both games. So you got Wotus, you got Ace, and anyone that bops either one of them on any stage in their respective game, they're the unofficial champ. So it's like, they run around, they've got the trophy. But then, the next person that bops that person is like, no, they got the trophy. So it's it's a fun little hot potato to watch in that sort of sense.
Certainly. So when someone did a slightly retrospective GoldenEye version, I apparently had it for a short time, which is exciting. But not in the unofficial setup, only in the advanced look back to like 2016 or something.
In the unofficial sabermetrics version.
Yeah, but I'm in there because I made Joris lose a point, which is probably probably accurate. That was my last PR, actually. Shout out to me not PRing since November 2020.
There you go. Listen, you gotta get back on the horse. You just before we did this, you posted the bunker 117 first stride. That's got to count for something, right?
You know, I would say that it does. Too bad dupes aren't worth points, man.
No, man. Listen, if dupes were worth, well, I would say if dupes were worth points, all of Irie's Depot's 26s would be looking really good, but now they look very not good.
This is true.
So,
would have been bopped to death there, had that been the case. So, not the best look, but you know.
No, but I did manage. Me personally, I did manage in the modern day to snatch a piece of the PD unofficial champ, at least for like probably about 12 hours. But you know, it's the fact that you got it in the first place. All
exactly.
It really comes down
like
to.
you can claim it. You know, that's all you need. Just be able to.
I should
claim it once.
I should add it to my profile for the meme. Why not?
There you go.
What are they gonna do? That's right.
Nothing.
There's
nothing they can do.
Mm-hmm.
And then one other thing, JD posted this, trying to bring in a new meme league, all shields, for Perfect Dark, where you complete each level and get all of the shields, in the level while also completing it. And then Cal did an all BA run of Depot. It's an interesting league idea for sure.
No, wait. So if he did an all BA run for Depot, that's like 7 BAs.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's like, especially if you play J, there's like a billion of them.
Yeah.
For some reason.
So he did agent, all BA in 2 minutes 34 seconds.
Because I think for that you have to take a certain amount of damage where you can pick up another BA, right? Like you can't just take one hit and refresh it, right?
It depends on the type that you're looking at, because there are half and full BAs. You can get a full BA when you have a half, but if you're above half, you can't get a half.
I see. Because if I'm not mistaken, you can have a shield get hit and just get another shield and it refreshes. I don't think you have to fully deplete it, but I could be mistaken about that.
Couldn't tell you. Played way more GoldenEye than Perfect Dark, so can't speak to the specifics.
Well, I played a lot of multiplayer, like back in 1975, but it's been a while.
I guess I did a lot of multi too, with my brother.
Because I played a lot of Perfect Agent, and there's not a level where you get 7 shields that I'm aware of.
No.
I would love to play that version of the stage, especially, but until then, not that I'm aware of. But listen, we said it before, we'll say it again when it happens again. We love meme leagues here on the show.
We are the OFOS champions after all.
Yes. So, will I become all shield champion? I wouldn't. I don't think I'd bet on it, but I'm all for a meme league. Don't get me wrong, even if I don't play it. So let me. And of course, who else loves meme leagues is Deep Darkness. So he was all in that.
Yeah, that man already has a full times page. Like
exactly. That's exactly what I'm referring to.
Wasted 0 time.
Listen, I had a thought and I lost it, but the point is, Deep Darkness, you're my guy. Keep it up.
Yeah, shout out to the lad DD. All right. Well, that pretty much gets us through all the catching up we need to do. We're now in episode 11 of our little podcast here. So we figured it was about time, because back in January of 2019, over 2 years ago now, which is kind of mind blowing.
It can't really be that long ago.
Yeah. The two of us did a horde together.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did do that.
Conveniently called Part 11, and since this is Episode 11, well, seems like a good time.
Are you guys starting to understand how we operate?
I mean, I think it's pretty predictable, but who am I to say? I can predict myself pretty accurately, as I am me.
Oh yeah, me. Oh, me talking about me. I've never missed. I've never gotten it wrong. Not ever.
But of course, I mean, it's still just kind of wild, like, as a horde. When you compare it to both what came before and what has since come after. Because it was the first released horde of, like, the new wave of hordes. Because there'd been a decent gap after K3. Before we came along, and then after us, boom, Sandpat, boom, PD, boom, Century Club, boom, everything else.
2019 really was the year of the horde, because it just kept happening. It was a wild time for sure.
Yeah, it just did not stop.
Yeah, it was the first like non-Capat / Green project that was like released like to the greater public in that regard.
Yeah, it seems that as far as like dates go, I think PD and CC both like predate Part 11 from the beginning. Like both of those projects like began before Part 11 did.
Yeah, it seemed the start date was before then, yeah.
But Part 11 was like a very fast project. I think people forget that because there's not like admittedly, okay, there's not a bunch of insane times in Part 11. It's relatively like pedestrian, but they forget that it was just 2 players, not 12, and done in literally just a month.
Yeah. Well, it was an interesting time in many regards, really, about the time of when it was made and when it happened.
Yeah.
Because you were, I think, just on a, it's not like you, because you started, it was your idea, and you were like, I just, on a whim, you're just like, I just feel like doing this. You're just like, I'm just gonna just do this like over like over like December and see what happens,
Yeah, that was kind of my original thought. I had just, because right after I got top 50, Dusky decided to post a couple PRs he hadn't got around to posting, bopping me right back out of top 50. And I took that personally, and decided to just, I'm like, you know what? The Elite's kind of a mess right now. On the whole, like, I'm just gonna like take a step back and grind it out during the month of December and just hold on to everything that I get. Maybe turn it into a little project.
So you're saying like the it was partially motivated by spite, is what you're saying?
I mean, I do have the little segment in there, poking fun at Dusky. My name's Dusky Yoidol, and I think I'm the only one that can horde. So I mean a little bit. Like, it wasn't as much that it maybe like an ironic like, oh, horde to get back, but I just kind of wanted to do it.
Yeah. Well, again, like, didn't know what was happening at the other ones were happening at the time, but it was just
I mean, you knew.
It was just I know everything.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point. To you were just like, oh, I just feel like doing this. Why not?
Yeah, like may as well. And I think I mentioned to you like, hey, you're welcome in on this if you want.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think. I wasn't instantly like, oh yeah, and then I think I got something, and I was like, yeah, I'll jump in.
Yeah, because saying that it took place over the course of a month isn't entirely accurate, because if you take like the total like PRs achieved, right? Like my first PR for part 11 was achieved at the end of November, and your last PR was achieved those first couple days of January.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of goes beyond that, but then when you look at when my PRs were and when your PRs were, neither of us extend beyond a month.
Yeah,
because I stopped playing earlier because I was busy at the end of the year around New Year's with trips and the like, so I wasn't able to play. And you joined a little bit later into December. So it did ultimately like a month each, just slight offset by like a week.
I'm trying to think, was that January? Was that the time you went out? Did you go out to the Rose Bowl? Was it, or was that a different year?
That would have been 2018 into 2019. So that would have been.
So it would be that one.
Would it have been? Yeah, that would have been Rose Bowl.
Yeah. So you can't really play if you're out in California marching on the field.
Yeah, no, I was well and occupied over New Year's. I basically got back from that trip and sat down and edited the video together for a quick release.
Yeah, that was it was a good time because there was all sorts of nonsense going on, and like you said, like you took a step back and like, I'll just do this and just let it breathe. And then I basically did the same thing. And then I'm trying to remember what it is. I'm trying to remember the first thing I got. It was probably something Villa related. And then I know I got in a message was like, yeah, I'll do it. Like, let's go. Like, why not? May as well have some fun with it as long as because I'm not, even though I'm not around, like I'm still gonna keep playing. So we may as well run with it.
Yeah, and I played a lot of GoldenEye during that winter break because my exams finished up pretty early, so I was pretty much free most of that beginning of the month of December. I remember my parents asking like, "When are you gonna come home for break?" And I'm like, "I'm busy playing GoldenEye."
I'm busy playing. Did you tell them you're busy playing GoldenEye or just busy?
I might have like mentioned that like I'll chill here in Columbus for a while before coming home. I eventually I got a handful of the Part 11 times at home with that setup that I brought home with me. But and actually pretty much I think all of my Part 11 times were achieved on my smaller CRT, which I haven't used in a while.
Oh yeah, the silver one from like the video at the end.
Yeah, that one. Cuz that's like my travel CRT. And I'd gotten that like either late October, early November is when I got, because I bought it off Facebook Marketplace. And after I got it, I used it almost exclusively for a little while. So a lot of my like runs around that time, like my Archives 55s, Frig 24, B2 24, those were all achieved on the little boy. I had it set on my armchair in my bedroom, which was a bit of a weird setup, but I did it anyway. But yeah, and then that's the TV that I took home because it's a significant. I think I want to say it's like a 17-inch, compared to my 27-inch, which is what I use most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. That makes me wonder. Let me see. This is let's see. This TV I have. This is a 16-inch. That's what my CRT is. This is the CRT I've had since I was like 12 years old or so. So I've had it since at least 1982. So this is a very old CRT. I'm surprised it still works. In all honesty,
Yeah, we didn't have any CRTs left when I picked up GoldenEye speedrunning because I asked, I'm like, hey Dad, do we have any old CRTs laying around? Because I'll totally take them. We didn't.
like for what?
So I ended up both of my standard CRTs I got off Facebook Marketplace, and then my professional video monitor, which I use for PAL, I got off eBay. So, but I don't think I had my PAL CRT at the time. I probably wouldn't have taken that one home anyway because it's kind of ugly.
Well, at least you weren't, at least you weren't trying to play Runway on an LCD. So at least there's that.
This is true. This is quite true. But yeah,
I don't
started.
know.
What was?
I don't know what dummy would play Runway on an LCD.
I mean, I did at first. But
Oh!
you don't remember that?
I remember it. Yeah, I remember it now that you mention it.
Because my only two active PRs that used LCD were Damn 53 Runway 22. Because I had a CRT by the time I got Bunker 17. So.
Oh, well, let's see. Now you have to get 52 and 21 so you don't have any LCD time.
That would be the only reason, probably. But
imagine that being your motivation.
Yeah, no kidding. I think because you were trying to remember what your first time was. My first time would have been Depot SA 41. Would have been the first thing I got.
Depot 40. That sounds right.
And I would have got that at the end of November. And actually that's still my PR. Yeah, November 29th. Still my PR because 40 is rude. I kept going too. Like I tried for a while to get 40. And I probably ended up duping 41 like 20 plus times somehow. I just could never get the boosts that I needed to help me out. But that'll be one I get hopefully soon. I haven't played that in a very long time, but and then I grabbed Depot 49, redeeming myself from my 50 choke.
Yeah, redeeming the choke. What you said? Was like, what? I'm trying to remember what you said when you got stuck in the corner for like an hour.
I don't remember. Easily
well,
one of my biggest chokes of all time. It was easy 47-48 pace, and it just fell apart.
Yeah, that was tough.
But redeemed that with the 49, and then I just kept playing a bunch of other things. I played a whole bunch of the game. And a little bit of PD. That was my first real time playing PD and playing it well outside of Duel. Was playing Airbase for.
Oh yeah, because you fell in love with Airbase.
Yeah, I did indeed. Got good times for the time. 116 and 146, which have fallen by the wayside a little bit.
Yeah,
with the PD renaissance. Yeah, 116 casually worth 71 points when I got it. Now worth 51.
Ooh, that was some time. That was some time ago.
Yeah, quite a while. Quite a while.
Let's see. Okay, so I'm looking at the post now. I don't see me referencing a time, but on December 2nd, I said all right, I'm in. I'll do it. So I'm seeing that, but I'm not seeing a first time or anything of that nature.
Maybe you didn't have anything then when you joined. You just said, let's just do it anyway.
Let's see. Oh, okay. So the the first PR I got was it was Chicago PA 30, which it was a 29 in the video, so it just kept playing obviously. But apparently that was the first one I got was Chicago 30,
That
which
makes sense.
I mean at the time was probably what is it now? What is it now? I'll just try and let's see. It's 46 now. It was probably a proof call time at the time. So, because that's what I mean. You look at a lot of these times are like at proof call or like slightly above proof call level. They're not. The majority of them aren't 80s, 90s.
Yeah,
like,
that's where most of the part 11 times were right around there. I had a few that were a bit lower, like FAC 46. That was only worth like 40 points somehow.
It's worth less now. Don't look.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then the facility 56s were nice at the time.
They're still okay, honestly. 47 and 58. Double is a lot better. But I got those really quick, so didn't matter much.
Because if you look at the times, there's not like a lot of there's not a lot of organization or like targeting or like where it did it, and like I was just playing I was playing my worst stages, which was I was playing Villa, I was playing Air Force, and I was playing Pelagic 2, and that's why that's why those stages keep reoccurring in the video so often.
Yeah, I just kind of tackled whatever I felt like.
Yeah,
for a bunch of times that I needed to get at some point.
Yeah, because there was no like it. It was the definition of just like a vibe. Like there was no like direction or like there was no like plan. It was just like, oh, we're just playing. Like, what do you want? I was like, oh well, I played Villa yesterday. And I got that. What should I do? We should play the other Villa. Sound all right? We're just vibing.
And there was no pressure to any of it either because like no one knew we were doing it. We were just doing it to do it. Like we didn't like need to have untides. We didn't need to have 30 people. We didn't need to have insane reveals. We were just hoarding to hoard essentially.
Basically, yeah. And I mean, in our current state, we weren't going to untie anything anyway.
Yeah, no.
So absolutely not.
Yeah, we weren't in a position to do something like that. And I mean, at the time, there wasn't, a stigma around what hordes needed to be. Like anyone just wanted to see a horde at all. They didn't care whether it was, full of records and untides and 12 people.
Yeah, it was just like a fun thing. It's like, this video, let's just go see what happens. You know what I mean? It's just
exactly.
It was just a fun thing because I mean, the fact that they made Capat 3 and they said from the beginning it's like this is like, well, not from the beginning, but they made the third one. They're like, all right, that's a trilogy. Like we're not doing another one. But they were so fun, and everyone was just like, when are you making the fourth one? And Luke was like, we're not. And, was like, and everyone like wanted to see another one. So there was definitely like a drought aspect to that, where it was like, oh, this was so fun. Like, can we just have that again? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, that first donut tastes really good. Can I have another donut? Like, I'm really enjoying this.
Exactly. So, I do remember. I don't know how many times did you achieve like in VC with anyone, because I definitely grabbed a couple. Because we had mate VC quite a few times during that month.
I probably got some in VC and I just didn't message you and like didn't say anything. There was probably a couple, but I never got like a recording of like saying like, "Oh, I got this," and like people were hanging around. Like I didn't get that because, well, I mean, I barely knew how to record at the time, as a matter of fact. So I wasn't going to get another audio channel. Like that was out of the question.
Yeah, I easily the most notable one for me was getting Cavs 102. Because of course I have to lie through my teeth to everyone because they knew I'd been going for it.
Was that the one where you were? That was that the one where you're like, "Ah, it's another 103."
Yeah, lowest 103 of all time.
Yeah. Okay, I remember this now. I the one I remember is like the Villa 110 because I was so happy about it because when I first started playing, I was so like awful at Villa Agent. I felt like I couldn't even. I feel like I couldn't even beat like 114.
Yeah.
I just kept doing it. It felt so hard, and it was 110. That's like one of the only times I've ever gotten where I actually like jumped up and got like super excited. I remember I took my jacket off and threw it across the room. I was so happy. That's like the only time I remember that happening because when I first started playing, the Villa felt so impossible. I just could not do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough stage. I feel like I had messed around with Villa at some point that fall, but I never touched it. I did touch it for the Horde. I got Villa PA 528.
Yeah, you got 528. I can never remember if you got that before I got 141. I can't remember which one came first.
I couldn't tell you. I probably. Well, let me look at the date on the 528.
Yeah, I know
December 6th. So who knows?
Let me see if I dated mine properly.
You might have gotten it before I did.
141. Well, it's a. Let's see. The post date says January 5th. Well, that doesn't sound right though. I may have just, you know what I might have done is it may have been unlisted and I just made it public, so it probably lost the date because January 5th doesn't sound right. I don't think I got it on January 5th.
I mean, that was when we revealed everything. Was the 5th of January. That was the the premiere day. So.
Yeah. But see, that was the scam. That was the scam where it was like, oh, like. It's just me. Here's my Villa Let's Play. Psych, got him. That's what that was.
Yeah,
that was the setup.
Yeah. Trying to think what else time wise before we actually get to like the initial release, because I mean, of course, there's Runway 34.
Well, yeah, that's the one time out of everything that actually like. Hasn't decayed.
Yeah, that's got some legs on it.
Yeah.
Be able to last quite a bit longer. I mean, it didn't take me that long, honestly. Like, it probably took me around 6 hours total to get to 34.
Yeah.
And I don't...
Because you even skipped, right? Well, you skipped 35, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what inspired me to, like, pick that up and play it. And I literally don't remember. I just decided, you know what? BK and Berg had been doing this. Like, let me give it a shot because I wanted to go for Runway SA22 anyway, and had been a little bit right before I started the Horde. I had a couple streams where I was going for it, but then yeah, I went for just went for 2-tap. Didn't even like 34 wasn't the goal. I just wanted to get like 35. I wanted to get a nice time.
Yeah, because you got the 36.
Yeah, I got 36 pretty quick. I like practiced with cheats on a little bit for a couple hours, and then turned off cheats and got it pretty damn quick and got 36. Pretty troll ending, which is why it was 36, not 35. It's pretty low 36. But then I'm like, okay, well, I can definitely do better than that, because I'd seen a lot of 34 fails at that point, and I'm like, I could totally get 34. Like, there's no reason why 34 is impossible, because I'd gotten like B complete 34s and C complete 34s, and I'm like, okay, we needed, gotta get this, gotta try and get this 34. I'll settle for 35, because no one's done any better than that yet with this strategy. But I'll see if I can get 34. And then the next day, like the next morning, I wake up, head downstairs, have breakfast, and start working on it. And I get 34. I remember because I was at home at the time, so I was playing in like the front room of our house, in the setup that you see in the reveal video. Great comfy armchair, by the way, very nice for playing in. And I get the run. I think Marshall was in the room with me at the time, and I'm like, oh my god, what is this? And then I reveal 34, and then I pop off. And of course, I'm not a quiet individual, so my dad walks in the room. He's like, okay, what just happened? And then I had to try to explain to my dad why Runway 34 was a significant time. Because it's not like it's not like it's an untied. I can't just say no one has ever gotten this good of a time. Like, no one has ever gotten as good of a time as this with this particular strategy that I used. So it's pretty.
You had to break it down to him really quick.
Like, yeah, it was a bit of extra explaining to get the point across. But he essentially understood. And then I filmed the reveal video right after that. And then that wasn't my last time that I got for that. I think FAC 5600 was after I got that, but
I think you're right, because it was the last time shown, but it wasn't the last time that you achieved.
Yeah, I think 0056 was the last time that I achieved, right before leaving for California. But of course, you were still busy while I was away in California. But I suppose this is a good time to bring up P2PA.
Oh yeah. This is a good one. So like whatever my P2 PAPR was, I got. So I'd PR and I'd be like, all right, I got this P2 PAPR, and like you were back by then, so I was like, okay, like I'm gonna edit it in with the music and all that, you know. And then like the next day, I was like, yeah, so I played P2PA again, and I lowered it. And he's like, oh, okay. And then the next day, I was like, I lowered P2PA again. So it was like, all right. It was like, can you stop playing P2PA? And I was like, yeah, I'll stop. And then I did it a fourth and fifth time.
It's like, because I had to re-edit it each time.
Each time.
And I think I don't remember whether it's either in the final video product. I think it's essay that you can see this. I didn't like perfectly trim it out. I just like put the newer PR on like a higher layer than the old PR. So right as it's fading out, transitioning into the next run, you can see the old end screen. And I can't remember if it's SA or PA where you can see it, but it's one of the two. It's pretty funny.
It's one of them, but yeah, he was getting really annoyed. He was like, can you play something else? Like that's not this. And I was
yes,
like, but I can.
Like I've already edited this. Can you please stop?
It's like, but mate, every time I play it, I skip like 3 seconds. Like I can't. I have to keep playing it. So that was let's see, that was a funny one. Crash Site Essay was a funny one because I kept lowering it. You didn't put it in the vid until like the end, but I kept lowering it by a second, and then like getting 130 took forever, and then I played another like 10 minutes and skipped 129. They got 128, which is the last run of mine that's shown, which at the time it was worth 90, which is really funny in retrospect because it's not worth that now.
Yeah.
But that was it's like that was a funny one because of the skip. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Oh, the Pelagic 2 grind was pretty funny because you had that clip where the guy punches me and I actually clip out of the Pelagic 2 and just fall into the void.
Dude, why do the craziest things in PD always happen to you?
I'm not sure because
that's like a consistent theme. Like, because I'm subbed to your YouTube, and I feel like every like couple weeks or so, you post some clip of some crazy nonsense happening.
Yeah, because so that clip out happens. You've got a clip I forgot to get that I meant to get. This is not related to part 11, but I was playing Air Force One, right? And you know when you're leaving the basement on PA, you throw the laptop gun to take care of those guards while you run out to do the other objectives.
Yeah.
Well, it landed on the seam of the door, and it clipped into the door, and the laptop gun like kept 360 spinning and it kept moving upward until it was just gone. And I meant to clip that, and I didn't. But I was just like, this game is very weird. I don't know why these things keep happening.
Play it a bunch, and it's gonna happen, I guess.
Not to mention, like I'm the only person to PR with the illegal sliding glitch.
That cracks me up every time I see it on your profile.
I had to put it up there. I had to commemorate that somehow because it's like it's basically it's a unicorn. It's like a sneeze run. It's like I have to highlight this somehow.
Yeah, but then putting the whole vid together. Of course, all I had at the time, like I guess I had built my PC by then. I had built my streaming monster, the Air Force 2, by then, but I hadn't gotten a hold of any like proper video editing software. So all of my video editing was still being done on my MacBook, which of course I'd been using for streaming during the webcam stream eras. And that's how I pretty much edited every single one of my vids that I wanted to put together and edit for through that entire first part of my career. So that's part of the beauty of part 11 is that it was done entirely in iMovie, which for anyone with any sort of video editing experience, like iMovie is such a great tool for people that don't need to do very much because it's not very powerful at all. You're very limited in what you're able to do. Like where text can go on screen is very limited. How you can animate things, how you can do so many other things. I will say the one thing that iMovie does better than Vegas, which I've been using pretty much ever since, is that within an individual text box, you are able to have multiple colors of text. That's very nice for iMovie. However, Vegas.
Yeah, I don't think that's good enough to get everyone to swap to iMovie.
No, definitely not. But that part 11 was kind of where I, as a video editor, kind of just I reached like the pinnacle of what I could pull off with that editing software, because I pretty much do everything that I possibly can in iMovie during part 11. So it's limited in the scope of what it's able to do.
Yeah, and I edited absolutely nothing.
You threw together like one or two of your runs you added the music to.
I added the music, but other than that, I was like, oh, I'll use this music. But other than that, I was like, dude, I can barely record.
And I think even then it was like you had like 2 or 3 runs where you added the music yourself, and the rest you're like, here's the music, do it.
Yeah, there you go. See, I was more like the idea guy and not so much the editing guy.
This is true. You were the one to come up with the Part 11 name idea.
That's right.
Still a great name.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't think you'd actually. I didn't know if you were actually going to use it, but you were like, because you just finished. You were putting the finishing touches on the 10-part like beginner's guide to like GoldenEye speedrunning, and I was like, what do I call this project I'm doing? I was like, well, you had part 10, just call it part 11, like kind of like as a like that, and you're just like, all right, now that sounds great. So sometimes it's really that simple, you don't have to overthink it.
Yeah,
but it did come up with that, and let's see, I'm trying to think. What else? There's some other like meme ideas we put in there because, like, as you could tell, like, we tried to make like the soundtrack good and make it like entertaining because obviously, like, even for the time, like the times are not like spectacular, so that's not really what. If we were watching it, it's like, oh, we'll just make it entertaining, like not really like, oh, let's have 18 unties, because I was like, dude, I can't beat Vil Agent 114. I'm not gonna untie.
Yeah, our goal was always entertainment value, and I think with we had quite a few like skits and meme edits, and then the soundtrack. Like, I know we're obviously biased because we put together the soundtrack, but it's such a strong soundtrack.
Yeah, like you could get when we get around to having all of the Horde soundtracks on vinyl, like just press them on vinyl, like that'll be a good one to get.
Oh, for sure. Indubitably.
Now, obviously, we're not going to press them into vinyl anytime soon because like copyright law is a bitch. But if we did do that,
you just gotta wait for everything to be in public domain, right?
Yeah. So
see y'all in 100 years.
Yeah. See about if we're all still around in 2085, you can pick up the Part 11 vinyl, and it'll be good. I promise you. Let's see. That was a good one. I came up with the Lee Corso midget skit. That was powerful.
Oh my god, I'm still like shocked because we wanted to use because of course anyone familiar with Lee Corso knows that he says "not so fast" like all the time, but that was legitimately the only version of him saying that I could find. Him calling that child a midget.
Yeah, which was wild aggressive.
Yes.
But don't get us wrong. That was wild. Kirk Hershey couldn't believe it.
Yeah, Kirk has no idea how to react.
He's stunned. He's like, did he really say call him a midget on TV like that? That was wild. I can't get over that was the only video on the internet. That doesn't even seem possible.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. But what else? Let me think. Yeah, so video editing, very limited, and I think that just serves to, like, boost Part 11 up even more, like, because it's 2 people who weren't that highly ranked at the time, who spent a month getting times. And then it was edited entirely in iMovie.
It was basically someone's high school like science project.
Exactly. Like such a I mean, quite literally a coming of age for the 2 of us, which is why the Crash Site Essay song is so still hits hard after all these years.
Intentional.
because it was very much a turn in both of our careers from that point on. We were not the same player afterward.
No, we weren't like we weren't babies. We may still been toddlers, but we weren't like babies after that point. We're getting there, getting the wheels under us.
Yeah. So then I get back from California, and I think I made a forum post like revealing like part 11 of my 10-part GoldenEye tutorial series debuting live on my stream January 5th. And like no one said anything about it because no one knew. And like if you don't say this is a horde, people don't know that it's a horde.
Clearly,
because they couldn't like what part 11 of a 10-part series? What do you mean?
Plus, it's you, and they're like, they would never think you were like, what the fuck are you doing, kid?
This is true.
So that's also like an element to it.
But it's it's just funny. It's funny to look back. Like there was so little hype around it coming out. And I mean, even during the premiere, we didn't have that many people in there at first, and then as people realized what was happening, more and more did show up. I don't think we got much above 40 viewers for most of it, and of course all the modern hordes are like, we had like 300 viewers. It's like, okay, well, did you have 40 in a time where the elite was in shambles and there were no other hordes and no one knew it was a horde? Like, don't know what to tell you.
It's a bit of it's a subversion of expectation.
Yeah.
Which is a literary device we abuse quite often.
Yeah, I think the mates in my Discord and the regulars in my stream that were also in that Discord were pretty much aware that it was a horde. Like the people I'd been in VC with a fair bit over December had been like, why have you not posted any PRs? Like, hello.
Well, yeah. Well, that's partially. I mean, that partially what led to the big like 30-minute like anti-horde rant. So there's also that.
That's such an iconic rant, and everyone comments on how long it is. But every time I watch it, I spend the entire time laughing. And they also, I don't think they realize how heavily I cut it down.
No. It was like 45 minutes.
Like the original, the full rant is long. It goes on for quite some time. And it's unfortunate that I wasn't capturing VC audio at the time in my recording, but still, it's a long rant, and cutting it down, I think it's like, I want to say it's like 7 minutes in the final cut of part 11, thereabouts. Cutting it down even to that much is a huge cut down.
Yeah, it was like 3 times as long as that. It just if you thought in the film he was chewing the scenery, like Jesus Christ, like he was pulling up like scientific papers on
Yeah, I went hard.
The iconic
psychiatric disorders. Yeah, pretty. It's still one of my favorite moments from the Horde. is the anti-horde rant, of course, being in a horde right towards the end. It's pretty iconic.
I really like whatever like you decided to say, like, you know what? I'm going through these VHS tapes. I'm just gonna cut random commercials.
Dude, that was. I need to capture more of the commercials on some of these other VHS tapes.
Oh man, it makes me laugh because I remember all of them, but it's also such a chaotically stupid, like, why would you even put this in here decision that it gets me.
It's so good. Like, and that one Progressive commercial is like a full minute long. Like, yeah. Oh my god, shut up.
Because anyone without or with context would just be like, why is this in here?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Get Shrek on VHS. friends.
Oh, but it's the Christmas version of the commercial because there's the snow and he has the
yeah,
hat.
yeah.
The Pox commercial edit, that one's actually
Oh my
that one's
God.
actually good though.
When
That
I-
one's fire.
When I was just like going through VHS tapes trying to find some old commercials to capture, and I found that one. I'm like, oh, this is kind of weird. And then it got to the end and it said Marcus wins. I'm like, holy shit! I know exactly what I need to do here. So I had to hunt down the Marcus Striker audio clip. And then as soon as I edited it in for the first time and played it, I was on the ground laughing my ass off.
Yeah, that one banged. That was a great idea.
So that may be the most underrated moment in Part 11 is that edit because it's so funny. And people like during the live, like during the original debut, were kind of like just tuned it out. They weren't paying attention there because it's like, oh, more commercials. Like I'm not going to pay attention, even though it's probably one of the best moments of the entire Horde.
A couple people caught it. And I'm sure on the reshowings of it, or if anyone's seen it again, like I'm sure they caught it then because when it's not, not in the moment, it's a lot. If you're just watching it by yourself, it's a lot easier to be, oh, here's that little moment. I see that now and that. Especially if you're in like a VC with a bunch of people, because you just be like, not half paying attention. Because it's kind of hard to when there's like, if there's 20 people talking, it's hard to like focus sometimes or hear everything in that regard.
Yeah, that's why I haven't watched any of the recent Hordes in VC, because like I want to watch the Horde. I don't want to watch 20 people watching the Horde.
I don't know. I kind of like it because I like feeling that like chaotic energy of like 15 people that's going, oh shit, like that's cool because it's kind of like a something crazy happened at a sporting event or whatever. But I could definitely see it the other way where you're just like, I just want to like take it in, you know what I mean?
I want to, especially because as a video editor myself, I use silence and quiet things often for effect, like for if you're actually able to hear what's going on, just in case there is something subtle so that you don't miss it.
But you see, you're more of like the subtlety and on that end, and other people on the other end, they like bombastic, loud, sort of thing. They're both valid, both work.
Yeah. And of course, when it was finally shown, and then I started posting times, and it was like, oh, I guess this isn't on Horde. We'll watch it. The few people that were around that evening. And no one knew that you were connected at all. Indeed, most people, a lot of the people that were watching were people that were members of PD.
Yeah.
So of course they definitely didn't expect you to be in it. As well as the mates probably had no idea.
No, because I was very like I kept it like very on the low. I didn't say anything.
I'd been a little bit more obvious in front of the mates. But you'd been completely under the table, and then of course you were already involved with PD at the time, so all the PD people did not expect you at all. So then the reveal that you were in it was quite strong.
Yeah, because the flip of energy of like, because you hyped it up like in the text is like, oh, he's playing PD, and it's like, holy shit, it's Villa PA, and it's playing the Mark Streets 112 Untied, and it's like, oh shit, and then it's like a let's play in 4x speed or whatever, and everyone's laughing. They're like, what is this bullshit?
Why are we watching this? Like, hello. And then boom.
And then it flips to me, and everyone there is like, wow, oh, okay, wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, it's a very sudden change in energy. And then you had a couple more runs after that, and then pretty much the rest of the way through we like alternated runs practically. It was like, here's a Flechr run, here's a Pauli run, here's a Flechr run, here's a Pauli run, which again is compared to the like quote unquote standard Horde format now, that's pretty wild. Like no one's done that.
Well, yeah, because most people they're like this is their section. It's set off in like blocks, which I mean that's the way the Capaps did it.
Yeah.
So because obviously you can see like everyone's pretty much walking on the shoulders of giants. So like that's the original model. So it's like you look at that and like what worked from that, and it's like okay, so.
And it's funny how fast people forgot about what the Green Project brought to the table. Like saying the level name before the run.
I know you're a big fan of that. Like, just like what level is
yes,
this?
tell me what level I'm watching. It's way more fun if I know what level I'm watching. Because I can actually make like more accurate guesses as to what the hell is going on than if it's like, is this defection SA, defection PA? I don't know until it diverges en route, and then it's like, okay, then why didn't you just tell us sooner rather than save like 10 seconds of confusion? Just tell us.
To be fair, I wonder if he did that because he was like, oh, this will be a good idea, or if he was like these because it's 20 like whatever 15, and he's
I
like,
guarantee he did it because not many people knew PD that well.
Yeah,
and it was a much
thinking.
easier introduction. Like, oh, this is this level and this difficulty. It's easier to watch this now. I know exactly what's happening. But I still think that is a good thing to have. And I won't say any more now because I ranted a lot about this when we talked about amalgamates.
That concludes our discussion on amalgamates.
Yes. I won't bring that up anymore now. But yeah, and see, a couple of the more standard horde things that I like having initials in the corner, we weren't able to do because you can't do that in iMovie. It doesn't let you.
No, but that's why you had the text effect.
Yeah,
you did that as a substitute.
When showing the date and level before each run, the text effect that goes on the text demonstrates which runner it is. I had the gravity text effect where the letters like drop down, and then you had like a flash effect where the letters like flashed in.
Does it have those in Vegas?
Those same text
or some equivalent?
I mean, probably. I would have to. There's not as much text animation in Vegas that's like built in. I would have to either download them, or I can create them myself, which is a little bit above my pay grade.
that sounds like you need a raise if you're gonna make it yourself. The editing program's like, look, you can have the colors or the text effects. You pick one. You don't get both.
Yeah, so that's the best that I could do to differentiate our runs. And since it was like 95% of the PD was you and 100% of the GE was me, like after a point it just becomes obvious who's playing what.
Yeah, it's like I figured out what's going on here.
Yeah, because I had the 2 airbase runs, and the 2 airbase runs in the Villa PA run. But then everything else PD is you, and all the GE is me. So
yeah, and the PD ones that were you were highly telegraphed. Is like, this is me, it's me.
Yeah, and like I'm in the corner too because that was before I recorded any of my runs without like webcam on, using my home setup. So even when I would like capture the VHS tape, I would still use the same layout on OBS that I used for normal runs. So my webcam was still in the corner. That's why for Airbase, I take the shot of Delsum cough syrup.
Here's me taking cold medicine.
And then the Nesquik bit in the other Airbase run as well is because of that. But yeah, I've since stopped doing that. My VHS recordings are now taken without any webcam at all, just the VHS recording and centered and everything nice. But I didn't do that at the time. But yeah, it was pretty obvious that those were me, and we like said so ahead of time.
Right.
But of course, people don't pay attention anyway, so there was still some question.
I mean, I wasn't paying attention.
This is true.
To be fair.
But I mean, it received a pretty good reaction when we first aired it. People have been looking for some content like that, something to bring the very splintered community back towards some semblance of normalcy.
Something. I mean, it got. It was more of a. It was more of a positive like. It was more of a positive reaction than like we thought we were gonna get. To be fair.
Yeah, we didn't really have any idea how it was gonna go, but
We didn't like obviously we didn't think like no one's gonna hate it. We just kind of thought like it was like maybe a couple people would see it like the mates and then be like it'd be like our sort of deal, but like most people would just be like, oh yeah, that was a thing, like and just like not
yeah,
really like think about it.
part 11
But
certainly happened.
yeah, exactly. But most people are like, no, this was cool, like and like
I
it
think
was
I think Kaido still holds that it's his favorite Unhorde.
oh yeah.
I don't know if his mind has recently changed.
Like
But
the quotes like they'd have on the back of VHSs of like reviewers,
yeah,
like even the ones that were like obviously fake, but from like magazines that don't exist or whatever. This is like, oh, this is like the movie of the year or whatever.
yeah.
You just put that on the back of the Part 11 VHS. Is like Kaido's like, this is my favorite one.
I don't really remember it, but I seem to recall it being my favorite. I think was his exact quote. So we'll take it.
yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, that looks good in a quote. Yeah, just put that on there.
But I mean, like, obviously we're biased because it's our project. Me more so maybe because I edited the whole thing together. But like, given the fact that it's two guys who weren't ranked very highly, doing runs over the course of a month, edited entirely in iMovie, I mean, it's a really solid project in retrospect.
Yeah, it was definitely in the right place, like at the right time, in more than one regard, and it was just super fun. It was super fun to do, and I mean, not bad for a fly by night, piecemeal operation, honestly, because we didn't know what we were doing.
No, we were just doing it to do it, pretty much.
Yeah. Which is why I mean, can you understand why we're keen for Project Quarantine?
Yes.
Because like it'll probably be like what we did, except like executed way better.
Probably.
Because it'll be better times and like it'll be better done and better edited, and it won't involve iMovie.
Yeah, I could definitely do a lot more with Part 11 now than I could have then. But not gonna remaster it or anything. I think it still stands up for what it is.
It doesn't. Well, here's the thing. Like, it's you could argue that what makes art is like its flaws. So like, I mean, why remaster it? Just let it like stand for what it is.
Yeah.
Which is just like this like little time capsule, like in between like the legendary like progenitor of like all the hordes, and then like the ones that come after it. It's just kind of like right next to it. That and let's see. Well, yeah, that. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Not very many Part 11 times left though. Very, very few. Do you have any left?
I feel like, hold on, let me have a look.
Because I have Runway 34 still, which has survived. That will likely be the last of my times to stand. Because the other ones I have are Depot 4149, my Cavs times, and that is that it? Just those 6?
Because you've got unless I'm blind, I think.
Yeah, I think I just have those 6 left.
The only one that's still standing is Villa Agent 110. It's still there.
So you have 1, I have 6. But 6 of those 7 will likely fall relatively soon.
Yeah, well, Runway 34 is a little bit more annoying to break than some of them. So, because again, like it's the one time in the Horde that like basically still exists.
Indeed.
The rest of them have been turned to dust, essentially.
Yep. Well, of course, this makes me want to watch part 11 again.
I mean, you might as well just do that while the video's rendering, don't you think?
Maybe.
It wouldn't be a terrible idea.
Yeah. Well, I think I don't really have anything more to say here, unless you do. I think my closing thoughts have already been well and said.
Take Control 2019. That's the only thing that really needs to be said. Is the last word. Also, Good Times Roll is a banger. That's all that really needs to be said.
Dude, that's like it's such a good credits roll song. You get it? They're good times, and it's a credits roll. The good times roll.
Yeah, trust me, they get it. We're very much not funny. I think they understand that.
And that reminds me, there's no after credits scene, which is like scandalous now. Like everyone insists that you have to have that.
Yeah, cause I mean, let me think.
Like we're not Marvel here. You can just end it. It's okay. It's fine.
They've all had it since Sandpat, really.
Yeah.
Even though that didn't really have credits proper. I mean, but it did say thanks for watching, and then there was like 10 seconds of blank screen, and then it went into it. So I count that as an after.
One of my favorite stories is the fact that Zed stopped watching Sam Pap after that message. He clicked out. he thought it was over. So he missed the Cavs essay run.
Listen, out of everything like in life that I believe that happened for a fact. Yeah. So you just like, thanks for watching. I was like, all right, it's like good work, Sam. Close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that plain as day. That definitely happened. Yes.
Okay. Well, let's try to tear through this last part of the pod here.
Thank you, Viewer Zone, for indulging our memory lane trip.
Casual hour-long discussion. I mean, we had a lot to say.
We usually do.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Looking at some other games, MK64 Abney recently got an insane sub 24 on All Cup Skips. Pretty wild run. I highly recommend watching it if you like Mario Kart 64 speedruns.
We know some of you do.
Recently, someone broke SMB warpless record, getting an 1858. Beating I don't know whether Cosmic still had that record and broke that, but
I believe he did. I believe he was the 1850.
Yeah, I know he was I think he was the first to get sub 19.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Now breaking another second in warpless.
Right, I remember watching. He got the first 1859 because I remember that Bismuth breakdown video. Shout out to Bismuth.
Dude, shout out to Bismuth. Speaking of SMB 1 though, there are a couple runners going really hard for 454. Someone had 454 pace all the way up until the water pipe exit in Bowser's Castle. Yeah, or at least close to it. So 454 is pretty close in any percent. So keep your eye out for that.
I don't know how anybody I don't know how anyone has the nerves that, that wall clip / wall jump they do to get into that pipe that's just floating in midair.
Yeah.
I don't know how anyone has the fortitude to even execute that on pace. Jesus.
It's insane. Also insane, Puncation on pace to get the 120-star world record in SM64, choking the Bowser throws. So a lot of action there on top of 120-star, simply getting bopped. Simply now back at the 120-star grind. Punkay almost getting it. A lot of exciting things happening in the 120-star category.
But Batora earlier today even having close calls.
Yep. And last but not least, another crazy Zelda discovery. Moon Warp has been discovered in Majora's Mask 3D. So that game's now entirely busted.
Well, we're here. It won't be long before we turn it into. Well, I don't want to say OOT 2.0 because that's still like.
I mean, it essentially runs
even
on the
do.
same engine, so a lot of the
Yeah.
discoveries apply to both. So
which makes sense. Maybe it's that the expansion pack that lets them get to the moon. Because you don't need the expansion pack for OOT. Maybe it's that extra RAM, you know.
Sure. Even though this is the one on the 3DS, sure.
No, you just plug it into the slot where the GBA cartridge goes, right? The 3DS has that, right?
No, it doesn't.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
the older DS models do, but the 3DS does not.
Well, okay. Well, I really cocked that one up.
It's okay. You tried.
But we're not editing it out. We're leaving it. We're not cowards. Leave it in.
No, it's staying in. Speaking of staying in, not a good segue. Person of the pod.
Yeah, like a 2 out of 10 segue. It's not one of our best works whatsoever. Okay. But listen, like. Person of the pod, our boy. If you've been hanging around in general, you see this guy, Big Dub, new to the scene, new to playing GoldenEye. And what I like the most about this guy is that, other than the fact that he'll drop random wrestling references and like change his profile picture like every day, which is chaotic energy I can get behind. But just a genuinely nice guy. Always comes in and says like, "Hey, what's going on, guys?" Or someone new joins, he always like a minute later he's like, "Welcome." Like he's always there. He just seems like a nice dude. So I like him. This is my shout out to you, Big Dub, person of the pod.
Yeah, I have no idea who you're talking about because I don't hang around general. But shout out to Big Dub, I guess.
Listen, you can take my word for it. He's a good guy.
I will. Hopefully he's checked out my hot tutorial. Get him started.
I mean, I'm sure he has. Like, have you checked the? Has the first video reached like 2K yet, or is it still in the one?
Oh, it's probably pretty close to that. Let me look. Where's the comprehensive GoldenEye tutorial series? It's sitting over 3K.
Oh, well, okay, smashing expectation.
Yeah, so it's been seeing quite a lot.
I bet you didn't think it would. I bet you didn't think it would like be that viewed when you started.
Yeah, 3,000. No, not quite.
Like 300 maybe, but not 3K.
Yeah, so glad to see people using that resource though. I put a lot of time and effort into that. Shout out to Icy as well for
That's my
helping
guy
out with that. What a lad. Anyway, well, let's get through the Q&A as well.
This is one of my favorite parts.
Oh, it's always good. Always good. I contacted QWERTY shortly before recording to make sure he had a chance to get in his questions. But the first two questions come from Yendis, who commented on the last episode. Again, we will answer pretty much any question you throw at us. Comment on the YouTube vid, reply on the forum thread, DM either of us in Discord, however you want to get them to us. We get sent a fair number of questions now, which is great. After the first couple weeks of Q&A, we were like, please, ask us anything.
Spare question.
We've gotten some regular contributors. Dr. Light and QWERTY especially has given us good questions pretty much every week. So first question comes from Yendis though. What is your prediction for the 2021 Breakout Player of the Year for each game?
Okay, so
how about you answer PD, I'll answer GE.
All right. So what do you got for GE, you think?
Let me give a glance at the rankings here.
Because I'll let you do that. Because I actually have a GE guy that I would propose for this.
You know, I think I'm gonna put my money on put the money on Psychroptic. Zach B.
Think so? You think it'd be Psychroptic's like big year where he just cracks it open?
I mean, he only joined. I mean, he joined right at the end of December 2019, but put in a lot of work in 2020. He's gotten quite a few good times already so far in 2021. So I think he stands a good chance of moving right along.
I'm gonna go with as far as G goes. I'm gonna go with the newer guy. This how to say this. This Declan guy, Imperfect Dark. I like this guy. I think he's gonna do something.
He does belong to the yellow team, so I can get behind that.
Mm-hmm.
Gotten
and as far as
the boring four.
Yeah, relatively quickly too. So I'm liking the look of that. And as far as PD goes, see, it's hard to say because I try to like think about it, because what could happen is that it could be someone new, or it could be like an old face that just plays PD for League, and they go, "Oh, like I kind of like this," and then they decide to like put in more time in it.
Yeah.
So, but I actually think if he for League, if he decides to go in for League, I think then I'm gonna actually say I'm gonna say Tabor's gonna do it. I'm gonna say Tabor's gonna have a big run in Perfect Dark.
Yeah, I would probably say either Tabor or if Hot Coldman keeps playing PD, it could very easily be him.
Oh yeah. No, he was good before, but there's something about getting a record, getting untied, like going ham on a level, and just unlocks you in other places that you might not realize. So he could just be fully online. He could be Hot Cold Men, if you know what I mean. You know?
Yeah. So see how 2021 shakes out. Another 21 prediction though. Who will win Match Cup?
Jonathan Hotinsky.
Mark Rutsu. Okay, next question.
No, but see, hear me out, right? Here's the thing, right? Like Jono's definitely going to take this, because I think that Mark Rutsu will forget that he's in it and just like
that's totally possible.
And not play or reschedule so much that like he just gets like he pulls out or gets like disqualified. So obviously Mark Rutsu, you would say like Mark Rutsu is the best player in the field in both like an IL and an RTA context, but like I think he'll get put out of the tournament on his own merit, and not because of like, oh, someone beat him.
No contest due to coronavirus.
Yes.
One of those.
So, yeah, give me Jono all day. I'm betting it all on Jono.
Okay. All right. Next question. The rest of these are from the lad Cordy. Favorite grind you've ever had? Not favorite time specifically. So favorite grind.
Favorite grind? Let me think. I think honestly the favorite grind I ever had was when I just kept playing Rescue DLTK and lowering it. I think that's the most fun I've had on the grind on like one stage. I think it's easily that one.
It's hard. It's a hard question, because all of my like grinds have sucked. And then like a lot of my good times I got pretty quickly. There's not that many in that nice little sweet spot there. So I'm just trying to think back to what I had the most fun like streaming.
Surely it's got to be Bunker 100, right?
that's tempting, but honestly, the Bunker 100 grind was like one stream. It was a long stream. Because I played for like 10 hours.
Yeah, it was like a 1 10-hour stream.
So you could call that a grind, but I almost feel like there's got to be like weeks of the process to really get to it. So it might be Egypt 45s.
Oh, the gout.
Yep, the gout grind. Never too stressful, never got too annoyed with them. Great times to get, felt really good. Probably levels I never need to touch ever again.
Best music in the game.
Good music. Got them right. I got like Agent right before the Corona lockdown hit, and then I got SA and 00 like right after it hit. So that'll be mine, I think.
I have a take real quick if you'll indulge me.
Go for it.
So like we played these games for hundreds of hours, and obviously, like even though the music's good, like you get tired of the music, so you turn it off. Yeah.
I mean, I very rarely do, but sure.
Like most people turn the music off, right?
Yeah.
I think that all Egypt runs without like the Egypt music are invalid. Take them off the rank.
Well, I'm pretty sure mine have music, so I don't have to.
So you're fine. So yeah, that's how I feel. I won't argue or apologize for what I said. So that's how I feel about it.
Awesome. I should say, let's jump back to other games for a quarter of a second. I've had MKMR up this entire time. He did finally get a world record on Koopa Troopa Beach.
I knew he would do it I knew it. I called it.
He had a run earlier that I was actually watching, where he was well ahead of his ghost in lap 3, and then he bonked, and lost the run. But he just PR'd right now by 0.5 of a second, beating Dan Burbank's record by 0.3 of a second. And
nice.
He is now #1 in world records once again.
He's back on top for how long? Who's to say?
So pretty insane. Pretty insane.
Oh.
I just happened to click back over to the tab and saw the end screen and everyone in chat losing their minds. So,
quick aside. BK was playing AFOSA for 117 for like forever, and he duped 118 a bunch of times. So I jokingly told him, I was like, mate, if you don't have it by the time you record, I'll mention you and then you'll get it instantly. Don't worry. But since he already got it, we don't have to use that superpower we have of like influencing people to get runs. Because we've done it multiple times now.
Yeah. Indeed.
Because you've got Cycrop that got it. Infill kept happening, but we knew that was going to happen. So like, obviously, there's some... Listen, if you're stuck on a grind, listen, just let us know. Like we can get you unstuck with this.
Yeah, we can fix this.
We can work. Just let us know.
But anyway, so that's pretty exciting. Good for him. Anyway, back to what we're doing. Okay, so that's the grind question answered. Next question: if you could make a GEPD level, what would it be like and be called? I would make a GE level called Skyscraper. And it would be on harder difficulty.
I would make a level like Defection Agent, but it's in Paris and you're on top of the Eiffel Tower.
Oh.
So then you just fall down and you land in the elevator. No, but what? Let's see. What? What about have you ever played Jet Force Gemini?
I've not. No.
Okay, there's a planet called I-Core where you basically infiltrate like one of the bad guys' like big bases, and it's really chaotic, and there's like snipers and things like that. I would make a level like that where it's it's like infill, but it's more of an indoor environment because I think those are cool. Or like maybe maybe more like an archives from like that shooter Fear, where you're running around and the guards are taking cover and you're trying to flank them. Like I think I really like I like closed inside maps like that. I think it's because I like Counter-Strike maps. So I like that aspect. That's probably like what I would go for if I made a level.
Nice. Okay, and final question. Best/worst ice cream flavor?
The best ice cream flavor is butter pecan. And the worst is probably just like straight chocolate.
Wow, really?
Yeah, like first of all, I'm not that big. I'm not that big on ice cream, and it's mutual because it's not big into me because it doesn't really work.
I forgot about
And
that. Yeah, okay.
And
Carry on.
second of all, like in general, like I don't eat a lot of dessert, but when I do, like my first go to is not like chocolate, and it's definitely not. If it's chocolate, it has to have like some assistance. Like if it's chocolate syrup on something, that's fine. But straight up chocolate, it's too much for me for some reason. So I'm not really big into it.
Interesting. It's hard for me to say, honestly. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to say a worst because there are a lot of ice cream flavors that just don't appeal to me, and so I've never tried them. Because I'm like, oh, I don't like pistachios. Why would I like pistachio flavored ice cream?
Yeah, you're never going to find out.
Yeah, so I'm not... There's so many things that I just don't bother trying. I also don't like nuts. So... any flavor with nuts in it is going to be towards the bottom of the list. So there's like a 30-way tie for last place. So, take any of those and pop that in there. Favorite, though, is a little bit trickier because it really depends on my mood. There's so many different flavors that I do really like. But the one that I consistently go back to and always really enjoy is mint chocolate chip.
Oh, you're a mint guy.
Yes.
Mint chocolate chip's not bad. It has that like when you bite into it, it feels like like it's really powerful.
It can be, yes, but I do quite enjoy it. So that I guess that would be my answer there.
Not bad. Quick shout out to chocolate chip cookie dough. Also, always a good secondary.
Not bad. Yes, not bad.
In my book.
I enjoy it. I wouldn't put it near the top, but I do enjoy it. Well, that pretty much brings us now to the end. All we need now is that trivia answer. How close was I?
Well, let's see. So your answer was G5 in 2012, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what. You got the year right.
Nailed it.
You nailed 2012, but it was we'll be precise. It was November 1st, 2012, and it was Rescue Special Agent. It was.
Oh, he hadn't touched G5 in a while. Damn.
Yeah, so he got a nice 217 on Rescue Essay on that day, and that was the last time until March.
It looks like his most recent G5 PR had been in 09. Okay, so I wasn't close there.
Missed up by about 3 years, I think.
I had the year though. That's 50%, 100% if you count the what stage as a bonus.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was a bonus, so technically, you didn't get the bonus, but you got the question right. So you're good, and you're good in my book.
We'll take it and run with it.
Yeah, it's better than our last trivia efforts. That's certainly for a fact.
Well, we'll see what I can come up with next time. Maybe we'll actually be able to get back to the 2-week schedule, or maybe we'll just stick with 3 weeks. We'll see. Who knows?
Maybe if if our schedules will get off our back for like a minute, maybe we can get back to the 2 weeks.
This is true. But that's life. I mean,
you got to take it how it comes. That's for sure.
And speaking of taking it how it comes, that's all to take from this episode.
Not bad. You tried it.
So thanks for listening. As always, I hope everything's going well. Stay safe. And goodbye forever.
Yeah, take care of yourself and each other. Good luck on the runs, and goodbye forever.